Hello. Can you guys hear me? Okay, rock on. Super excited to be here today. I am a very passionate guy, so if I get going too fast, throw something at me and we will slow it down. But to get I hate title slides and I hate big about slides. This is the most important thing you need to know about me, right? This is my greatest accomplishment. In all reality, everything else I do kind of fades in comparison to these guys. So I can take the words right out of your mouth. I absolutely know it, and I'm super lucky. But a funny story, and one I want to set up kind of leads in. I'm talking about full funnel marketing, specifically on Facebook and Instagram. And for a lot of businesses, specifically B2B, that's a foreign concept in and of itself because their audience isn't there, right? We can't sell B2B products there. We can't do lead gen there. We can't actually get conversions there. All things I hear all the time. My oldest son, the one on your far right, he's 8. When he was 2, he walked up to me and said, "Dad, our TV's broken." Of course, I was heartbroken, crushed, immediately rushed to the living room. What's going on? He's touching the screen and saying, "Dad, it's not working." And right, he's expecting, 6 years ago, my son was expecting our TV to work as a touchscreen. I'm like, "Oh, no, we just can't afford that yet, bud. You're good. It's not broken, we're just broke." So then, fast forward to my youngest, who's the dapper Don in the cap, right? About a year ago, he walks up to me. I'm doing the same thing. I'm in my office. "Dad, TV's broken." Got this one. Been here before. Third kid. I know what you're doing. Go out into the living room. I'm saying, "No, man. See, it's not touchscreen." He goes, "No. Watch. Alexa, change the channel." I'm like, okay, I get it. So all that to say, our consumers are changing. And the way that they use technology and the way that they find information, products, services, brands is totally changing. And specifically, there's a ton of data out there. One study just came out this week that more people are spending more time in apps on their phone. Netflix, Hulu, Paul his biggest favorite place for content is Netflix, right? 5 years ago, that wasn't even a paradigm that you could even run a filter through. So people are changing, and we have to adapt as marketers and understand that we can't just go to Facebook, or we can't just go to Instagram, or we can't just go to social and try to touch one piece of the funnel, which is what so often we try to do. So a little bit about me. This is 2009. This is the first time I've ever shown a slide of me without a beard. So this is pretty crazy. The big thing about this, though, is this is when I started on Facebook. I was affiliate marketer in Florida. And at the time, there was 3 options that you had for targeting. So we talk about growth of a platform. There was age. You could pick somebody's age. I could pick their gender, and I could pick their education level. And I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in 2009 just targeting those 3 factors. And so when we fast forward today, hi-ya, that's a little overwhelming, right? There's literally hundreds of ways that we can target. We're not going to talk about targeting today. There's a lot of great resources for that, and I would implore you to look further at that. But that's a lot, man. That's a lot to overcome. And so what happens is a lot of business owners, they open up Facebook, they're like, "Oh, cool, it's easy to boost a post, it's easy to make an ad, let's do it." They start loading in some basic targeting, they pick a conversion focused, and then a week later they're wondering why they're not getting sales, right? And it reflects, right? Weebly ran this report this year, 62% of small businesses think Facebook doesn't work. Well, that's because 62% of small businesses are most likely doing Facebook wrong, right? When we look at the statistics, Facebook will tell us, even with basic housekeeping, most of them don't have the pixel on the site, right? So how can we truly know if Facebook's working well? So step 1, make sure you pixel everything, not just your website, but your microsites, your subdomains. If your store is on a separate domain, make sure you please God, pixel your store. But then you can also pixel things that people often forget, which is your landing page. And one of the things I'll tell people is before you even think you want to start running, go pixel your landing pages that you're running paid search to so that you can start to get some really good infographic or some audience insights on people that you know are converting, as well as let Facebook start mapping that conversion path for you. So Facebook has all the data, and it's important to understand where they get the data. So there's the declared data that we give them. Literally, when I create an account, I tell them my age, I tell them my name, I tell them the city I live in. So this is the declared data, the things that we're just willing to give them. Beyond that, we also have the inferred data. So when you traveled here today, Facebook knew you drove. It can see your location. It can see you arrived here. It knows you're no longer at home. It can also see your friendships and all the connections that you form and the relationships that you have there, as well as it can see not only geolocation, but it can see things that you do on the web, so it can infer different things as well. So it uses all that data. Third point of data is the third-party data, and that's the data it literally buys from our credit card companies, from Equifax, from TransUnion, from Pulp databases, as well as the data that it gets from the government agencies. So our title data, all of our car data, all of our registration data, all of our tax data on our houses. And then the final piece of data it gets us is the data that we allow it to collect. And so the reality is that you're going to pay a different price for each one of those data sets as you go in and get them. So long story, when we'll get there is you want to start thinking about full funnel marketing really in audience development and audience segmentation. And as our industry starts to continue to change, we're going to hear more and more about audience-centric marketing and less about specific personas or specific groups. It's about people that we know something about and getting them into that funnel at that step and then remarketing through, knowing that we can drive them to the journey endpoint we want. We got all the data, so what do we do it now? We start targeting. And at the highest level, the reality is we can target in two basic ways. We can target by someone who they are, and so I'm sure that you've all seen this persona type. I see them every week. I get nauseous at them. You're right, these are the things, this is our ideal customer. So we can target by all of those ways. But additionally, we can target by their journey and the things that they've done. So have they visited our website? Have they engaged with any of our videos? Have they engaged with any of our posts? Have they abandoned something in their cart? Have they clicked on our email newsletter? All of these different journey points we can as well use to identify. So what do we do now? Ideally, we start going out and trying to make some money. And we use it full funnel, right? And so one of the things that I see most often that leads people towards negative Facebook results is using either the wrong ad type or the wrong ad unit or the wrong bid type for the different stages in the funnel. You don't want to pay conversion-focused prices for top-of-funnel traffic. And likewise, you don't want to take top-of-funnel traffic and try to convert that without having any sort of path for them to follow, right? So we start with video ads and carousel ads. In my mind, those are some of the, well, not in my mind, historically, anecdotally, as well as quantitatively, those are some of our cheapest acquisition costs. So Facebook loves video. Just pump through your feed and you'll see the amount of video that they're pumping to us. Not only that, we as consumers love to get caught in the video hole of Facebook. Everybody here has done it. You've watched one video, and then the next thing you know, and it was a friend's video. It was like your friend doing something cool. Oh, cool, his daughter graduated kindergarten. And then the next thing you know, I'm down this click hole of like 30 videos. And by the time I'm done, I'm watching like a dog run across a street and God knows what. But, you know, there goes my time. Facebook's monetizing all of those impressions, right? And ultimately, it wants you to spend more time watching videos, so it loves video. And it makes it really, really cheap for us to go show video to people that we have any sort of affiliation with. And when I say cheap, I'm talking about penny per video views. I'm talking about video view campaigns where we get clicks for the 5, 10, 15 cent range for the same target customer that we pay $30 to $90 on paid search. Ideally, though, it's not. We have to know that that first visit isn't going to lead to the conversion, that we have to nurture them through the journey and through the funnel. Carousel ads, collection ads, great for middle of the funnel. Once somebody has some engagement and we know something about them, then we can start to show them a little bit. And then at the very bottom, image ad and collection ads to drive revenue. The reality is I'm seeing video have more and more of effect across all three of those channels. Using testimonials, using product explainers, using how-to and demo videos, we've seen great conversion rates from just nurturing and giving our consumers all of the information they need to make a good decision. Funneltastic. I love this. By the way, this is like my absolute favorite deck in all of the world to put together. I'm an 80s kid. Like, I grew up with Jordans and Don Johnson and Miami Vice, so this is just right up my alley. Now, to expand on my point, video killed the radio star. It also killed like every other ad unit that Facebook wants you to use, except maybe collections. And even now we're seeing some carousel ads do really well, but video's the jam, right? And they had it right 30 years ago with the Bengals, or the Bungles, or the Bugles. So yes, make video. And I'll tell you this, Akvile Harlow has a great article. You don't have to have a professional videographer and a full staff and really polished video for social. You can go out and get really great impressions and get really great brand awareness and start to create a relationship with an audience using stuff you shoot off your iPhone and stuff you edit in iMovie. And we've done it for clients that don't have any budget just to show them. So don't be afraid to push your clients to do something outside of the box or that they think is maybe a step below the quality they want, to show them proof of concept and to show them it makes sense to invest. My absolute favorite for top of funnel. So we're talking about top of funnel now. Video is amazing for top of funnel because our cost of acquisition is so cheap. I can go get people to join our family, to jump in my pool of my audience that I can then parse and segment and come back to in whatever way I want to for so cheap. Likewise, the second piece of that is lookalike audiences. And I see some people, like, the standard is, okay, cool, I'm gonna do a lookalike of everybody that's converted. And I love that, and that's great. But they're not ready to buy yet, right? So we still have to have a place in a funnel for them to fall through. My other favorite place to go through is people that visit our landing pages. So too many times I see, landing pages built in Unbounce. I love Unbounce. Landing pages built on a separate subdomain or a microsite, and then we fail to pixel those places. And so that's why one of my favorite things to do when I come in with a new client is to stick the pixel on the site if they don't have it already and start to collect data from the places they're already having success from, so that I can go create a lookalike of not just the people that converted, but give me everybody that visited this specific landing page, because I had to pay $40 or $60 or $80 per click to get them to that landing page, but I can take that same pool, model it, and go get somebody to watch a video on Facebook for a penny. That's simple math to me. But as well, you can do email subscribers, all of your customer data. So anybody that you have, if you're a sponsor for this event, you could create a Confluence event list, right? Load that up as a custom audience and then create a lookalike audience of everybody that attended this event. And then run to them your demo offer, your notes and recaps. Hey, you didn't get a chance to go to Confluence? You know they didn't. Hey, want our notes, want our deck, want to check out the video recap we shot? Just additional ways that we can expand our funnel without breaking the bank. And that's what top of funnel should be, right? Is creating audience for us to come back and segment. Now the real thing about top of funnel that I think a lot of businesses fail is they just create an ad unit, but the ad unit in and of itself doesn't have any social proof. And the whole point of social media is to allow the network effect of people liking and creating that connection play for you. So as stupid as it sounds, we still see tons of value in boosting posts and boosting native content. Dennis Yu will beat you over the head with the $1 a day plan and will make you sick to your stomach about boosting posts because that's all he talks about. But the reality is Facebook knows that native ads, meaning ads that don't look like ads but look like real posts, that those native posts perform better because people don't see them as ads. Even though it says sponsored up there under it, they don't glance at that as much because it doesn't look different in their newsfeed. Additionally, the video audio plays, so it's going to take them 3 to 5 seconds just to realize who you are, what you do, and that's long enough for you to get that momentum going and to capture them with good video. So just from a native perspective, we love boosting posts. But the first place we boost them is not externally. The first place we boost them is internally to the people that we know and love, so that we can get some quality social proof, so that I can get likes, so I can get engagement, I can get comments, and then once we do that, we can step outside of the box and start showing those to other audiences. The beautiful thing is that one post occurs all the social proof. So while I'm going out and running an ad towards my lookalike audience for all my past subscribers, lookalike audience for everybody that attended this event, I'm also going to run that same post and boost it internally to my audiences, whatever affinity audiences I have, Facebook fans, email subscribers, landing page visits, all of those, in order to drive that social proof to help my other ad units, which all is going to lower my cost and make it easier for me to go find bigger audiences. So special bonus, concurrent engagement. Don't be afraid to run multiple ad units, or multiple campaigns on the same ad unit, meaning on the same boosted post. So let's talk about middle of the funnel. When can I see you again, right? They came, they saw, they left. They left me heartbroken. What can I do? Thousands of ways to remarket customers. And this is where I go with a lot of clients, is we need to be better at remarketing, and we need to be smarter. And so my biggest thing is be creative. Be creative in your remarketing and what you know. I think too often as marketers, we are lazy, and we want to go for the lowest hanging fruit, and we want to drive do the things that drive the most revenue. But the reality is in order to get the lowest hanging fruit, the tree has to grow, right? And in order to go get the easiest revenue, you have to build a funnel, and you have to have clients that are ready to convert right there on your doorstep. And eventually those will dry up. Middle of the funnel is the great place to take those audiences that we started building for really cheaply and start to warm them up. These are where your ebooks come in, your white papers come in. This is where testimonials should be just driving the ship. Video testimonials are so cheap and so easy to produce. Not only that, your clients love to give them to you. They feel special. Who doesn't want to get on camera and say, hey, they're doing a great job? Now, if you're not doing a great job, that's a whole other presentation. But, provided you're doing a good job, even for all of your clients themselves, for them to get customers, incentivize a customer. You know, I have an air conditioning client, we give a free air conditioning check away if they'll let us film at their house and if they'll give us a testimonial. Have no problem with the video testimonial. Have no problems with that because ultimately they're helping us sell the product. Facebook just opened up engagement as a way, so you can now remarket to people that watched a specific video, that engaged with a specific post, that came to a specific event. So if you create an event and they liked it, you could create a lookalike audience of people that came to this event and then market to that. So the realities are there's so many possibilities, and we need to be doing all of them, including cart abandonment, website visits, multiple page visits. And the other one is too many times I think we fail to think about our customer journey and then match that to our remarketing. If you know, like I know as a digital agency, every client that signs with us, they look at our About Us page, they look at our testimonials page, and they look at our Contact Us page. That's the holy trinity for us. If they look at those 3 pages, they are seriously considering doing business with us. So if you look at those 3 pages, I will remarket you to the ends of the earth. All platforms, all channels, testimonials, videos, the whole 9 yards, because I know that those are our key pages. So likewise, implore, and you know this, you put the Facebook pixel on there, you can start to see exactly what the journey is in Facebook, not in analytics. It's recording the same sort of data and giving it and making it available. Set your standard events up so that then Facebook can map those conversions and you can let their algorithm go to work for you. Now, this to me describes what happens when we do the top 2 pieces right. Because if my calculations are correct, if we dump a bunch of people that are moderately interested in our product in the very top of the funnel and get them to watch some content, and then I come back and I prove to them how great I am by proving my value propositions on our price, on our reputation, the quality of work we do, on testimonials, reviews, some of the big clients we've worked with, then I know when it's time to go back and actually ask them for the business, there's a good chance that shit is gonna happen. But you have to segment your audience, right? And that's what I was talking about earlier. I can't go back, I'm an Air Jordan 1 fan. And it's because my parents couldn't afford to buy me these shoes in 1985 when I was 6 years old, right? And it sticks with me. So I have a closet full of shoes now. It's a terrible, unhealthy obsession, but thus is life in a first world country. So if you're kind of trying to push AJ 9s or 12s or 14s to me, I'm going to be really upset because I want 1s and maybe I want 4s if it's a good day. But you have to segment your audience. You have to know what they're looking at, and then you have to be responsible and give them a message that aligns with the journey that they're on. And we start with by creating custom audiences, right? And too many times, the custom audiences we build are too broad, are too generic, and aren't specific enough. So if you look at a lot of our accounts, it's overwhelming. Did I put a custom file? Yes. These are like 3 little snippets. This one account right here is for an event, a conference that we work with. They have about 80 custom audiences in there because we break out visits to not only to our site, but visits to all of the microsites that we own. We also work with all of our sponsors, and so anybody that visits our sponsors' pages about that event, we put our pixel on their pages. Not only that, but we segment their audience into their journey. We know people are more likely to purchase in the first 7 days, so we hit them hard in the first 7 days, and then at the 14-day mark, we switch to a different message. At the 21-day mark, we soften up the message, and at the 28-day mark, we give them the Hail Mary, and we really run some crazy specials at them because we figure why not. Right? And then as well, we know about high intent page visits, right? So we know if they visit this register page 72 hour, it's a journey, they've hit 2 or 3 other pages to get to that totality, that's a client that we absolutely have to spend some time trying to massage. Ooh. But what about B2B, right? I get it. You don't sell the product. You don't have a conversion. Lead form ads, they're amazing. Lead gen ads are like the bee's knees, especially for B2B. I don't know what it is, but consumers behave differently on the different social platforms, right? We all have different usages on how we use Twitter versus Facebook versus Instagram. And when people get on Facebook, they put their CEO hats down and they put their, director of operations hat down, and they're Bob or they're Susie, and they're looking at content. And so the reality is if you take a concerted approach and help guide them down their journey, that lead gen ads are the final step for a frictionless conversion. It allows them, maybe you get a good white paper, maybe that's the final video, maybe you're finally offering the free trial demo, whatever it is, it pushes them to the final step and makes it super easy to collect that data. Pro tips, map your conversions. Too many times I see clients just throw the pixel on. Yep, pixel's on. Use standard events. Put it in Google Tag Manager. Go reach out to Mike Arneson and read everything that he puts out, because he writes everything there is to know about Google Tag Manager, and he can tell you all the cool things. Not only that, but you can do so much more. Everybody, one tip out of the day is put the pixel on everything you own, microsites, domains. Number 2 is implement Google Tag Manager. It'll make everything else you do easier, because you're going to want to do standard event tracking. That's way easier with Google Tag Manager than trying to go into your individual pages on your site and actually get up your dev or even yourself to put the code on those pages. Let Tag Manager handle it. But once you do that, what happens is Facebook's algorithm starts to learn what your unique customer journey is and how people find not only your site from a top of funnel, but then how they navigate page-wise, behavior-wise, action-wise to get to the ultimate goal, which is conversion. I love that effect. So for conversion-focused campaigns, pro tip. Too many times I see people come in, they jump in, they don't have any data. Yes, let's do a conversion-focused campaign. Let's let Facebook optimize for conversion. The problem is Facebook has no idea what your conversion path is. So what we do instead, provided we've done the other 2 steps, provided we've actually mapped out, we have event tracking or standard events mapped out, and provided we've given Facebook enough time, ultimately what I want to see is I want to see Facebook show me 20 good conversions that I can go back through and match up to my analytics, to my e-commerce platform, to my lead gen capture system, to my CRM, and make sure, because 20 seems to be the magic number where Facebook gets a clue as to what your users are doing. After 20, what we like to do is turn, so when we start, for all new conversion-focused campaigns, even though we know the journey, we'll start with a conversion type campaign, but then we'll actually do the bidding at cost per click. And that allows us to control the journey to some degree. If we have the 20 mapped, we'll let it run to the point where our cost per click we feel solid about, and we're getting conversions, and then we'll flip it over to optimize for conversions. So pro tip, don't start your campaigns on optimize for conversion. Just spend a lot of money and won't get anywhere, and you'll hate it and you'll think it's broke, like 62% of small businesses. Instead, start with cost per click so you control and you can make sure everything's going the right way, so you can test creative, so you can test assets and audiences, and you don't let it run and spend all your money on just impressions, right? I'll let that one go. I am Damon Gochneaur. These are some other really, really smart people to follow. If you're into targeting, AimClear up in Duluth, Minnesota, Marty Weintraub, if you ever get a chance to listen to him, he speaks about 10 times faster than I do and has some of the most insane ways to target people. So if you geek out about data and how you can reach people and how you can literally, like, I like to explain to my neighbors how I can target them on Facebook because it always blows their mind. I'm like, oh, Bob, you drive an Audi, easy. Oh, and you live in this neighborhood and you make this much money and here's your job title and I'm sure you have this many lines of credit and so here we go. So it's amazing. I geek out over it. If you do geek out like me, check out Marty Weintraub. Also check out Mary Morode. She's at AimClear as well. She's super smart. They put out a weekly psychographics tip sheet that is amazing. And then my personal buddy, Susan Winograd, she's super sharp as well. And if you're really into this stuff, come to PubCon in Vegas, and I'll be speaking about advanced Facebook targeting with Dennis Yu with a 2-hour session, and that will be whole loads of fun. So yeah, love that effect. Final last words of wisdom, segment your audience. Some people are looking for other things and just kicking tires. Some people are really happy and want to see you like the big ugly bee in the middle. And then some people are really angry with you and are just looking for other things. Know who they are. Segment to them. I am Damon Gochneaur. If you want to email me, this is my real email address. Email me. I'd love to talk. I appreciate it. Questions? We should have some time.
I think we've got time for some questions, so raise your hand and I'm going to come to you. Okay, that guy first.
How long should video testing
Oh man, that's a great deal. So there was a great study, somebody just put it out last week. The most watched time of video is between 60 and 90 seconds, which is, to me, is a little bit mind-blowing. But if the content's good, people want enough of it. So so just like Paul was mentioning, BuzzStream, Business Insider, they produce Tech Insider, just a crap ton of video content, so much video content, and use Facebook top of funnel to push it, right? All of it's in that minute and 15 to 2 minute max range. I will say this, I don't know if you guys have seen them, but I'm seeing more and more images as videos. Anybody seen those? Yeah, here's the shitty part. They work. They're frustrating, because I'm sitting there like a dummy, like, what is this going? And then I'm like, damn it, I just watched 12 seconds of video. Because that's how stupid I am. It like takes me a long time. I'm like, what is this? And it's just this flower's not moving. But a couple pro tips. Number one, if you've got like everybody here battles the 20% rule, right? We constantly are trying to tell a story with an image without using a bunch of text. Video gets around that. You can put whatever the hell you want in the video. Facebook doesn't care because it moves, and that's enough for them, right? The static image thing works because it gets around the rule. And so a lot of times you see people using it. And the second reason it works is because we sit there and it takes us 3 to 5 seconds, and then we sit there longer to see if it's going to change, and then we watch a 15-second video. And what it does for the advertiser is it gets them ridiculously cheap distribution, because they're getting crazy high view-through rates, and their video is only 15 seconds. They're getting 50% and 75% completion rates, just tripping over themselves because people are just trying to figure out what the hell the video is. Other questions? Yes?
Hey, Damon. I'm wondering how you decide how much to pay for retargeting ads to make sure that you're not paying too much, because you don't know whether these people were going to buy or not.
Yeah, for top of funnel? No, that's a great call. Ultimately, what I try to do is we have a conversation about allocation of the whole budget, right? So the biggest conversation we have is, and I try to let clients know, is that if I spend 0 at the top and just spend it at the bottom, eventually we're going to run out of people to spend money on. Like, unless you're Netflix and the whole US is your audience, then yeah, you probably have enough but most small to medium-sized businesses, even larger in B2B, they don't have enough. So what we have to do is we have to carve out, and so I literally have the conversation with them. We have to feel comfortable and have to make a decision that if it's 10, if it's 20%, some portion of our budget is going to creating some top of funnel. Typically what happens is if we can get the funnel working correctly, they see the increase overall, they see the bleed over into direct traffic, they see the increased click-through rates in other places, and we can have an easier conversation in 3 months, 6 months. But the first time, I literally go to them and go, okay, cool, our budget's $4,000 a month, I want $400 for top of funnel. Literally just 10%, because I want to just create and show you that I can have users come in through here and get them to here. Because once I can prove that and get proof of concept, then the whole budget conversation totally changes. Is that fair? Did I answer your question? Fair enough. Yes, ma'am.
All right, I just kind of want to make a point about the 15-second video.
Yep.
Because people are thinking, how are you leaving the customer, a potential customer, feeling?
Oh,
So
I totally get
you
it.
leave the future customer frustrated, they will not become a future customer.
And I 100% agree. And that's why I say the shitty part about it is they work. In the sense that they get distribution, that it's a cheaper acquisition. So from Facebook's side, Facebook wants to show them. I get from a user experience. Well, I guess it depends on what the conversion you want. So if all you want to do is get people into an audience to see that ad so that you can remarket to them later, then it absolutely worked. And a lot of times, if the content's decent enough, it's not so frictionful that you're just like, I hate that brand. Right? It's like, and you don't see a lot of brands using it. Mostly you see right now like third-party sites that create like places for people to want to get content from, right? And so all they're using it is to try to expand, because the reality is we're going to pay the most for third-party data. If I pull your third-party data from Facebook, they're going to charge me the most. As it comes down to the collected data and to the declared data, that's some of the cheapest, right? So I want to get them from here to here, and it's a cheap way to do it. If I do it right, I could even use a third party, like some BS Facebook post, right? But still have that audience pixelated back to my brand. So, but I 100% agree with you. Not a good practice. Users hate it. But unfortunately, shitty stuff works. I've seen terrible emails convert. There's all, you know what I mean? There's a case. It's the 80-20 rule. I'd like to think I'm part of the 20%, but the 80%, they do some weird stuff sometimes. Other questions?
All right. Give it up for Damon, everybody.